until I can find me half a dozen sharpshooting youngsters.
You sharpshooting me, punk?
Sharpshooting.
Sharpshootin with Ted and Brandon. Hello, Mr. Ted. Mr. Ted from Sharpshootin. We've effectively made the rebrand from Ted the Toy Collector to Ted from Sharpshootin. It's happening. We talked about this last time, but it feels like it's complete.
Yeah, I think I just got tired of that being the argument every time somebody disagreed with one of our wrestling takes. It's like, oh, but why should I listen to this guy? He collects toys and he's 30. And I'm just like damn, dog.
You've got a gimmick change now. Yeah, you've done a very subtle gimmick change.
Yeah. I haven't even rolled it out on the TikTok yet, man. I don't know if I can. I feel like, I feel like people know me as Ted the Toy Collector. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, the brand equity. The brand equity is very strong on TikTok, but that's fine. I think you're doing a great job. Sir, it is 11:16 p.m. on a Wednesday night, which means that Dynamite just finished after a near 40-minute tape over. Or I don't even know. They just ran over.
Bro,
it was
surely they had to have had like a 9:30 end tonight, and they just ran over 10 minutes.
Yeah.
There's no way they ran over 40 minutes, right?
Unless they ran out of Big Bang Theory episodes to finally show.
Hey, listen, man, I'm telling you, Tony says that they love him up there at Warner Brothers, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, okay. For a second,
like, y'all keep selling all them pay-per-views. Y'all can run over as long as you want.
For a second, I got to be honest. I thought you were talking about Big Bang Theory still, and how Warner Brothers still loves Big Bang Theory. And hold on. Pause. Do you like the Big Bang Theory?
Bro, I'm about to tell you something. I've never seen an episode of the Big Bang Theory.
Yes. That show sucks. We're going to lose some fans right now. Here's the thing. Here's what I realized over the weekend, that there's like 3 Big Bang Theory spinoffs.
Yeah.
Spinoffs.
Yeah.
There's a fucking franchise.
Bro, I tried to watch Young Sheldon.
Whoa.
Yeah, I did.
You tried to watch that, but haven't watched a single episode of Big Bang Theory?
It was enticing to me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, this kid's
what is enticing about the spinoff? You have to explain this to me. Why would you be down with that?
I was like, this is a little smart ass kid. You know what I'm saying? I know in the Big Bang Theory, he's a genius. So I was like, okay, this is a genius kid navigating life. And then he had like an idiot brother and then like a bad sister. And I was like, oh, okay, that's like a traditional family dynamic. That's cool. And then I watched it and I was like, actually, this show wasn't made for me.
My God. Big Bang Theory is one of those shows that everyone around me loves and I can't stand. And I know we're going to lose fans. That's for sure. We're going to, the small conglomerate of fans we have.
You know what? I think to make it fair, what we have to do is now you have to tell everybody something that you like that most people are going to be like, ew.
That's fun. Okay. I enjoy pineapple on pizza.
Oh, dude, what the fuck? Oh, no. No,
that was a good one.
Now this segment's not fun anymore.
That was a good one. Yeah. No,
okay.
You're wrong. Pineapple and bacon with some jalapeno, bro.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Have you had it? Have you had it? Or are you just judging?
I've had pineapple on pizza before, not with jalapeno, but it's not for me. Warm fruit, just not my thing.
Warm fruit is so much grosser when you say it like that. Yeah. All right, that's fair. Yeah, I'm not putting it on fresh.
Okay, I think my thing that most people are going to be like, no, this dude has horrible taste. I shouldn't listen to anything that he says.
It's just going to be your take on Chris Jericho again.
No, it's that I like Mortal Kombat 2, the movie.
I haven't seen it.
The old one.
The old one.
Annihilation. Yeah, that one.
Okay. Yeah. Is it? I'm not familiar with the discourse. People don't like that one.
And now listen, I will say this. I love that movie. Objectively bad movie. Okay. And listen, very hard for a movie to be objectively bad because all arts are subjective. That is an objectively bad
Sure.
movie. Okay. And I love Mortal Kombat so much. I was like, nope, this is fine. If this is the Mortal Kombat media I got, then I watched it so much as a kid.
Wow. And everybody, welcome to your premier wrestling podcast of the world, where we talk about anything but wrestling. Yeah, we talk about pineapple pizza and Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Well, welcome back to the show, everybody. We're trying to get consistent again.
And the thing is, man, it's like there's been so much happening, and also we're like 12 days away from All In.
Yes,
maybe not even that.
11. It's on
11. Yeah,
on
the 30th.
Is that a Sunday? Would that be a Sunday then? It's now the end of the 19th. Thrilled, man. Well, let's get into it. I mean, I think last time we left off, we were going to go through SummerSlam, and I don't think we're going to do that.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. Also, who cares? SummerSlam was fine. It was cool. There were some fun parts, but we're so far away from it that I couldn't even tell you who was on the car anymore. Like that's literally where I'm at with that. Let's move on. And there's going to be people. For those of you that were excited to hear our SummerSlam recap, you know what? Send me. Here it is. Here's what you should do. Join the sharpshooters, the sharpshooters, right?
Yeah, the sharpshooters. That's what we're gonna call our audience, man. The sharpshooters.
Join the sharpshooters group that you have made, the channel on Instagram. We can have our discussion there. We'll move it there. We'll have a whole ass SummerSlam discussion. We've already got a good little community going there. We just opened it up to messages, so it's not just Ted in there spamming people. Other people can contribute. We'll talk about it there
for now.
For the sake of this episode.
Yeah, get in early because we won't always have it open.
Oh, we're gonna lock that shit.
Boy.
Yeah.
Y'all know how the IWC gets.
It's gonna happen. I mean, we're gonna start with the biggest story of the week, and that is Drake Younger returning to GCW, which I, of course, am totally joking about that being the biggest story of the week, because quite literally before we started recording, I was like, yo, Ted, who the fuck is Drake Younger?
Yeah, man. Hey, but listen, honestly, I wanted to talk about this, not even to talk about Drake Younger, because I also, when this all came out, was like, who the fuck is Drake Younger? I wanted to talk about this, to talk about the owner of GCW, man, Brett Lauderdale.
Yeah,
dude, for the past couple of months, he has been choosing the weirdest hills to die on, bro. A couple of weeks ago, he was on Twitter asking everybody, hey, context, right? A couple of weeks ago, this dude gets on Twitter and people are upset with him because he's booking a wrestler that kind of got shunned out of the wrestling community because they were not black and they were calling people the N-word, basically, right? Brett Lauderdale brings him onto a GCW show and people are like, hey, Brett, why are you bringing on this person that says the N-word that isn't black? And he was like, whoa. I don't know who's allowed to say the N-word and who isn't. I mean, I thought some races were allowed to say it that aren't black.
Yeah.
And he was like, Fat Joe says it. And I was like, nigga, who gives a fuck what Fat Joe? Fat Joe? What is the basis of that? So I'm just like, bro, the weirdest hills to die on. And I'm like, bro, this dude owns a wrestling company. So then I went back and I started going down this rabbit hole of who this Drake Younger dude was, bro. A psychopath, bro.
So for more context, Drake Younger, formerly known as Drake Wirtz, I believe, Wirtz was a referee for NXT a couple of years ago before getting dropped for saying some very problematic shit. As you stated earlier, all the isms, all the
bro. I was looking up this dude, right? This Drake Wirtz, Drake Younger guy, right? And they said that whenever he was working in the WWE, Triple H had a meeting with all the talent and everybody working there to talk about how inclusive everything was about to be and how it was going to be an equal opportunity workspace for people of all races and people of all religions and gender identities. And they said he stormed out because he was so mad. He was so...
Dude, listen. GCW is like a step away from booking like Tucker Carlson as like their manager. Like he's gonna show up, and start like Paul Heymaning out.
Oh, bro. But then, bro, Brett Lauderdale, he gets on Twitter and he's like, for whatever reason, mind you, this is all unsolicited information. Owner of GCW, bro, he gets on Twitter and he's like, hey, listen, I know a lot of y'all are going to be upset that Drake has a ridiculous history of being Islamophobic, racist, transphobic, homophobic, all these things.
He hates vaccines, yes.
And it's being an anti-vaxxer in the middle of a global pandemic. Not a pandemic that just Americans were going through, everybody in the world. Anyway, and he said, be that as it may, I used to be on meth. And when I was on meth, Drake let me sleep on his couch. So I know he's a good guy.
Also, can we talk about how that is the least surprising thing that Brett Lauderdale has ever said? Is that he at one point was on meth? Dude, you and I are never getting booked at GCW. That's what's happening.
Bro, I'm black. I don't think I was getting booked at GCW to begin with.
You definitely weren't going over. You might have gotten booked, but
but that also brings up a really interesting conversation though, right? Because it's like, if you are like an up and coming wrestler, right? And you see these weird things happening at GCW. He was also on the internet just defending Tommy Dreamer when Tommy Dreamer was saying all these weird things, right? And people were coming out and saying Tommy Dreamer was booking himself weirdly with women. He was like, well, listen, Tommy Dreamer just comes from a different time. And like the things that people shun now are the things that used to get him over back in the day. So you just got to understand. So I'm just like, these are like consistent things. But if you're an up and coming wrestler, you don't deny that GCW booking, right? Because it's one of the bigger promotions out there.
Yeah, there's a weird kind of middle ground in terms of carny style wrestling, right? There is a fun kind of carny aspect of professional wrestling in that, I mean, frankly, when Danhausen was on the Indies, when you it was like, oh, this is silly, this is ridiculous, this is fun, we're all in on it. It's also just inherently like whimsical and ridiculous, and then you get the kind of sad fucking redneck, like just dated carny shit.
Yeah.
That for whatever reason, to your point, you'll see motherfuckers like want to just defend until they die. Like they're like, no, you couldn't get it. It's before you, as if they have some higher level of understanding as to what professional wrestling is, when in reality, what they're defending is some really ugly, problematic shit, and like employing folks that have no intention to change that. And what confirms that for me is like, it feels like they just go through the motions to try to look accountable without being accountable. Cause he went on GCW and apparently was like, I fucked up and I had some folks call me, and I'm not one to say that people don't deserve second chances. Right.
Yeah. Agreed.
However, I think there are steps that need to be taken, and the first step should not be just immediately shoving that person down your throat and being like, here's how it is now. Like, they're good. They fixed it. It's all fixed.
He was like, he donated $250 to an LGBTQ organization in New Jersey. And it's okay, now listen, the donation, cool. That's awesome. Have you donated money before you debuted on GCW? Because if not, it feels a little performative.
That's my thing.
Have you made a donation anytime before now that you're getting all this pushback that you're debuting again? Because if not, you can't get mad at people for saying that that's performative.
It feels like a deposit, right? To make more money. It feels like, I'll donate $250 so I can go to get booked. And look, I realize also that you and I are I mean, I hesitate to say talking a lot of shit, but we are definitely taking a hard stance on this. And the reason is because I think wrestling is its best when it is inclusive and when it goes out of its way to be inclusive. Because let's be honest, wrestling is drag. Like, it is drag in drag. And anytime we try to act like it's anything but theater and frankly, inherently queer, and we try to, for lack of a better term, shoehorn a very unrealistic level of masculinity that ignores the parts of it that are very much performative and inclusive, it's like you're missing the point of it.
There is not one time, I swear to God, as an adult, bro, there's not one time that I haven't been watching wrestling with a woman and she's been like, it's kind of gay. Not almost every single time, bro. And then I'm like, okay, hold on. Well, actually,
No, and you know what? They're right. And the good news about it is that's fucking fine.
You know, and I think a bigger thing is like I personally, I don't want to speak for you, but I think you agree with me. I think it's important to have these conversations because, man, and on top of wrestling being its best whenever it's an inclusive space, it's its best when it's a safe space. And whenever, you know, and I just think that the owner of a company coming out and excusing and bringing back on some talent that has all this problematic history when there's a billion wrestlers out there dying to get booked and dying to get paid. It just like it to me, that is the good old boy system working at its finest. That's what that is. And to me, the thing that I hate the most about the wrestling space, and granted, I'm talking about this from a fan perspective because I've never worked in inside the wrestling business like you have, right? But I think the thing that annoys me the most about wrestling is how political it can be on the inside. I hate that. To me, it ruins the creative side of things. It makes people not passionate about wrestling anymore. And it's like you hear the Bruce Pritchards and these guys on WWE Unreal talking about talent. And it's just like, how can you feel this way? Or even something like Bubba Ray Dudley coming out and being like, oh, you know what would be a really good storyline if John Moxley beat his wife, you know, and things like that. I'm just like, man, this is what people that are in the wrestling space think. And they get places in the wrestling space and they get voices in the wrestling space. But Bubba Ray Dudley's on WWE radio now. And these are the things that he think are good ideas. That's all I'm saying. I'm just like, I think you have to have conversations like this so there can be another voice because a lot of the voices in this space are bullshit.
Oh man, hold on.
I think the biggest problem, and just to kind of put a bow on what we're talking about, because I think maybe there's some folks who are like, I don't understand what they're talking about. I don't get it. I think it is very clear that at one point in time, pro wrestling was problematic as fuck. Like, as good as the Attitude Era was, there's a lot that we look back on and we go, oh shit, can't believe that was on TV. And we have covered a lot of ground. From a creative perspective, from an inclusivity perspective, there has been a tremendous amount of ground covered since that time. And things like this, and just kind of, and frankly, skirting over, and just going, it's fine. We'll bring them back on, and without any sort of real, to me, tangible accountability.
Yeah,
it feels regressive. It feels like truly regressive, and when you have folks like a Willow, like a Kenny, you know, like a Speedball, frankly, even in the GCW world, like an Effie, right, who have really broken a lot of ground to, you know, show what it means to be anything but what is the traditional idea and image of a professional wrestler. Would those people exist and they work so hard, I think platforming folks like a Drake Younger, which fucking dumbass name, it's just a bummer. It just ends up being a bummer. And I've been a GCW consumer before. I love watching some GCW shows during WrestleMania weekend, just like the rest of us. You know, I don't follow it every year. It's kind of place right now. So I think all this, just to put a bow on this, because I don't want to put too much time on this guy. We've already put a lot into it. It feels regressive, and I like my wrestling inclusive. I think it's funner that way. I think there are plenty of people that deserve that platform that don't have a history of being a fucking bigot.
Bingo.
So
really as simple as that. Damn, that all could have been summarized in that last sentence. Man, crazy.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. You know, we've got Dynamite to go into, and we are obviously into a huge build into All In next weekend.
11 days away.
Should we watch this together? Should we do that? Is that what's or what? Where are you
Oh,
watching?
dude, hell yeah! I mean, I don't have it. It's kind of not a romantic way for you to ask me, but I mean, yeah, I don't mind watching.
Send you a letter, or what? What do you mean?
I don't know. I don't know.
Should I have texted you this privately off the air? Like
maybe we take the conversation offline.
Or was it?
You know?
Or was it a little too like should we and rather should I have given you like a can we or will you?
Maybe, but maybe you'll get it right for All Out or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm down to watch it.
I just got a workshop. All right, that's fine. I'm glad you're not ending this relationship before I fucked it up.
Bro, that'd be a lot of fun. But man, the card for All In.
Oh my God. Yeah. All In, as and you and I were folks that All In historically, at least in the last couple of years, not historically, has been in London. It will return to London this year, but last year it was in Texas.
Hell yeah.
We had the privilege of attending.
Yeah.
And driving up to fucking Dallas and watching All In person. Before we get into this,
yeah.
What was your experience like going to All In last year?
Oh, bro, have I ever told you about my experience at All In last year, or is this my first time telling you this?
I know that you went. I feel like I would remember, but no.
Oh, bro, I had the night of my life.
Oh, wait, you know what?
All In.
I actually do think I know.
Oh, bro.
But please tell it to the listeners.
Bro, so crazy series of events. First of all, parked at a super sketchy apartment complex next to the stadium because I didn't want to pay stadium parking. You know what I'm saying? So fingers were crossed the entire time I was enjoying the wrestling so that my car didn't get towed. Took a couple shots on the way to the show. You know what I'm saying? Had a bottle of tequila in my pocket. Went to the show. Was having a great time. Took a couple shots whenever I got to the show. So at this point, I'm feeling good. You know what I'm saying? Show hasn't even started yet. We're still watching like the pre-show, the pre-card stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Did you bring in a thing to shoot, or are you buying shots there?
No, I'm buying shots there, man. I'm balling. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Bro, I'm like, when I say halfway through the card, like the actual card, I'm walking around like in a low-key like a drunken stir. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm seeing people that I know from social media. I saw like Alan Owens. I was like, oh shit, let me get like a picture with this guy. You know what I'm saying? I watch his content. I had people stopping me. They were like, yo, you're Ted from TikTok.
You were getting stopped too, yeah.
You know, so I was like, oh, that's cool as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I saw Powerhouse Hobbs and fucking what's the pit bull dude with no goddamn neck? Tomohiro Ishii.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I saw them just they were just chilling. Out and about with the fans, you know what I'm saying?
Stone Pitbull, right? Yeah. What they call them?
Bro, so also I go to the concession stand, to the merch table, bro. The woman sees that I'm wearing an Abolish Ice shirt, the Brody King one, gives me a free Hangman Adam Page bandana.
Fuck off.
For free, bro, for free. So
shout out to that lady.
Bro, my stupid ass though, bro. So I go back, I'm enjoying the show. I tie my fucking bandana around like my hat or something so I could like walk around and know that I hadn't lost it. Bro, I go back to sit in my seat, lose the fucking bandana, or so I thought. It was tied on my head the entire time. So I'm walking around the stadium looking for the bandana because I'm drunk. He
was blasted.
And an idiot. And then Brody King came out, bro. So this is okay. So this is, in hindsight, I was being an asshole. But in the moment, I was very, bro, I don't know if I'm pretty sure I told you this. I almost got thrown out. I almost got into a fight at All In, bro. Maybe I didn't tell you this part of the story.
I don't think you did. Yeah.
Okay. So in hindsight, again, I was wrong, but at All In last year, I almost got into a fight. So the Brody King comes out, right? And I'm lit, bro. I have I'm a couple shots in. I got my Brody King Abolish Ice shirt on. You know what I'm saying? I was supposed to bring a sign, but I didn't. And I was going to write, Abolish Ice on my sign because I breathe this shit, bro. I love this shit. You know what I'm saying? But, bro, so I take my shirt off in this bitch. I'm drunk. You know what I'm saying? And I'm waving my shirt in the air. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. And mind you, I'm on the floor. You know what I'm saying? So hey, I got good seats and I'm 6'5". There's a lot of people behind me.
Not taking your shirt off. Yeah.
Bro, listen, but I did. I took my shirt off. I'm waving it in the air. I'm like, yeah, Brody. Yeah, bro. And I'm not paying no mind to like anybody. And then all I hear behind me is, fuck your t-shirt. Fuck your t-shirt. Like chants. Bro, I'm not even realizing they're talking to me. So the dude next to me is like, hey, bro, they talking to you. And then I hear it again. They're like, fuck your t-shirt, bro. So I turn around and the entire, everybody behind me, all the seats, everybody, that entire section of people, they're like, put your fucking shirt down.
Okay,
put it down.
so it's not the subject. Do you think it was the subject of the shirt, or
no? It was me. It was me.
You were blocking.
I was blocking everybody's view. I'm 6'5". I'm waving my shirt like this. You know what I'm saying? For a good little while too. You know what I'm saying? So
and at least one of those people was like, "That's a motherfucker from TikTok."
Bro, for sure was, bro. But in the moment, I realized I'm like, yo, I'm tripping. You know what I'm saying? I am obstructing everybody's view. So I turn around. I'm like, oh, my bad. Like, I apologize. My bad. But there's one guy in the middle of them, and he's like, fuck you, you son of a bitch, fuck you. So naturally, I'm like, nigga, fuck you, nigga. What's up? And so I'm like, pussy, and I'm just cursing back and forth with this dude, right? So at that point, I leave my section at All In, and I go to his section, and I go to like his row, and I'm like, bro, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, come out your section. But then he's like, acts like he can't see me, and he just starts watching the wrestling show. And then I realized, I was like, yo, I need to stop drinking, because if I fight somebody in the middle of All In, the police in Dallas are going to fucking throw me into Dallas jail. And that's the last place on earth I want to be, Nikki, ever. Jail in Dallas with the Soto niggas? No, bro. So, yeah. So that, but.
So did you behave for the rest of the night?
Yeah. So but aside from that, went back to my seat, had an amazing time. The show was great. Got back to my car. Didn't get towed. You know what I'm saying? It was awesome. Wow. Bro. Had an amazing time at All In last year.
I was also on the floor. And
how didn't we see each other? That's crazy.
No idea. I don't know. You're hard to miss. I really don't know, because I mean, I knew who you were. All this to say, All In is returning to London this year, and I will say, I think it's probably safe to assume that there's going to be way crazier brawls in the audience than anything you experienced.
Oh, yeah. Man. I mean, dude, All In Dallas had like 30-something thousand people, right? It
was awesome.
So, dude, that crowd was insane. I can't imagine what London is about to be like.
It was long. It was a really fucking long show. It was like a 6-hour long show. I think it started at 4 or 5 p.m. So I still got out of there. I went with a very big group of other like wrestlers that I know.
Okay.
So I was there with some buddies, and we all had a big old Airbnb. We went back after the show, and about 10 to 15 of us hung out in the pool and just stayed up till 2-3 a.m. It was really, really a fantastic. It was a fantastic.
That's night. Awesome, bro. Man, that's I saw Ric Flair at the bar before I went into All In.
Because of course you saw Ric Flair at the bar.
Of course I saw him at the bar, right, bro? Yes. Literally, I walk in, go to get a drink, and I'm like, oh shit, is that Ric Flair? And part of me was about to walk up to him, but then I was like, nah, he's probably weird about that. So I asked the bartender, I was like, hey, is he taking pictures with people? And he was like, no. And then I was like, okay, maybe I could send Ric Flair a drink, and then he would want to take a picture with me. But then I realized, why the fuck would I buy Ric Flair, of all people, a drink? First of all, this nigga has way more money than me. And then second, it's kind of a shitty dude in real life.
Yeah, I was like, you should have bought him just a shot of like vodka. Just sent it over. Just the worst shit you could find. Hey, give him some Rumple Mints. Can I buy a shot of Rumple Mints for that man over there?
A shot of Fireball. Just send him over an MD 2020. Jesus Christ.
I think next year we can make the goal of going to All In London together, assuming it is in London still.
So you think they go back to London again next year?
I would assume. I mean, for a while when they did the Texas thing, I thought, okay, are we going to start moving into other locations? Is All In officially the WrestleMania? I think that's still kind of up in the air. Like a lot of people, I think, assume that All In is AEW's equivalent. One thing about the WWE system that does work, and granted, there are a lot of like these pay-per-views that you're very clearly working up to, that they've kind of dropped, to their credit. I mean, it was very obvious when it was like Hell in a Cell season, and they've dropped that to a degree. But they're big four, right? It works well. The Royal Rumble and SummerSlams, and it's good. All In rather AEW has needed a little more of that, of us knowing, okay, it's gonna get real fucking good now. I do think All In is that, but I also think that bringing it back to the same city consistently muddles that, that idea a bit. So I would love to see it after this year take another city by storm. Do it in a fucking, in a Seattle. Do it and like I think international shows are fantastic. That is the one kind of thing about this that is special.
Those crowds are always insane. Like, look at Grand Slam Mexico was insane, man.
1000%. Yeah. But I think that there is something to be said about them picking another location and just let's if we're gonna have it international, man, do it in Australia next year. Do it, and come on, let's give us that. That being said, I think that they have done a pretty excellent job at building this card. Looking at what we got here, and we're gonna run through it relatively quickly. There's a lot of good shit. We'll start from I'm not even gonna say from the bottom, but the trios championship, which I guess after tonight, so we've got Adam Page, Hangman and Brodito. And remind me who they are facing for the trios championship.
Well, you see, that's where it gets interesting, right? Let me ask you, who do you think they're going to be facing for the trios championships? Or we can just rip the Band-Aid off and just call a spade and just say what everybody's thinking.
I don't know. So I'm gonna let you rip the Band-Aid off.
Hey, man, I think it's going to be Swerve in the New Day, man. I think that's what they're teasing.
Oh.
I think that's what they're teasing. The past couple of segments, they've had Swerve comes out in that segment with, let me see. It's like, so it's Hangman and Brodito. They're cutting a promo, and then the Demand come out with the Swirl for whatever reason, like Jay Lethal and Blake Christian and the other guy whose name I always forget. And then Swerve is just out there by himself. Who's going to team up with Swerve, and they're teasing this thing. And then tonight on Dynamite, Hangman comes out and says, hey, listen, anybody that wants to challenge for the trios championships, meet us at the arc of it, bro. It was like an Elden Ring riddle. He was like, anybody that wants to challenge for the trios championships, meet us at the arc of Wembley at dusk. And I was like, okay, but like what day? What the fuck does that mean, Hangman? No. I feel like there's more details needed in that message. But
can I ask you this? I mean, we've talked about New Day, potentially whether they were going to debut before or during All In. I've kind of gone back and forth on it. I tend to agree with you in that. I mean, obviously there's like one more week for this to happen. At this point, I think it's too late. I think you drop the hints, you let it happen at All In. That being said, I don't know that I expected them to team with Swerve.
That's the conversation. Yeah,
that is. I'm not going to say surprising, but I am very curious to hear what you think of this, and if you feel that this is a mismatch, or is this something that you could see working and that you're excited for, or you don't know. But I want to know your perspective.
Yeah, so out the gates, I agree with you. Did not expect that the first thing we were going to see the New Day do in AEW is team up with Swerve for a trios run. But I will say, the more I think about it, the more I like it, honestly, for a couple of different reasons, right? Number one, I don't think we ever really got to see the New Day have an actual heel run in the WWE. So I think that they still have that to get off of their chest creatively, and I'm down to see it, man. And who better to do it with than the most dangerous man in AEW right now, Swerve Strickland. So I think the thing that also makes me excited about them possibly becoming the trios champs together is the fact that, something that we've talked about in the past is that the trios belt need an identity. That division needs an identity. And I think that the way that you do that is by putting the trios belts on somebody, keeping them on them, and then having them have actual feuds with those belts, right?
Right.
So I start thinking about the AEW Trios division, right? It has potential, man. So out the gates, first feud that they would realistically run is New Day and Swerve versus Hangman and Brodito, right? Swerve and Hangman have their thing, and Bandito's one of the most loved people in the company. Everybody loves Brody. Immediate heel heat coming in, taking them out, right? After that, have them feud with the Dogs. The Dogs, gritty group, up and coming group. You know what I'm saying? I think it could be an interesting feud.
Dogs.
And then, of course, they're gonna feud with the Elite.
Yeah,
so that feud,
that's the big guy right there.
That's a big one. And then you got the Swerve and Kenny dynamic, and then everybody wants to see New Day and the Young Bucks. But I think this also leaves room for them for the Young Bucks and the New Day to have their tag team feud separate down the road. So I think there's potential there. I think it could be really interesting. But I don't know. What do you think?
I think a lot of people expected the New Day to come in as a babyface.
Yeah.
To come in as a kind of reinvigorated, renewed, rebooted version of what we love and have seen from them. So
yeah,
to me, that is what makes this the most surprising part, because it does seem like a lock at this point. It feels like frankly, that's the only place in the card that they can fit, right? And they're tailor made for it. I think my one concern is that I'm very curious to see how that. Okay, let me reframe this.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going to heel and they're going to come out as heels, I do think that the best way to do that is with Swerve.
Yeah.
And that's because I'm not convinced of a New Day heel run. Okay. I was excited for it initially, and I'm not even going to sit here and be a mark and chalk it up to WWE creative and be like, that's why it didn't work. I'm still just not convinced. There are certain wrestlers and performers that I think work inherently best on one side, and not that I'm not down to watch them experiment and go on the other side and do their thing and heel out. Cody's, again, one of those guys that everyone sees, at least WWE perspective, as a natural baby, and I don't disagree with that. But he's also a fantastic heel. He is tremendous. He's underutilized as a heel. This is one of those where I go, I'm not quite sold on it, but I think the best way to sell me is, to your point, pairing them with someone like a Swerve, who is flawless as a heel. Truly flawless. When Swerve was healing out, he does no wrong. And he's so good at it. He's one of those guys that is so good at it that people still root for him. He can do some fucked up shit and you're still rooting for him. That is how good Swerve is. It's a weird place to start going over this card, because it might be the biggest moment of the night.
Yeah, easily. I think it's weird for me thinking about the New Day in terms of heel or babyface, because I didn't get to watch the New Day as whenever they were rising to popularity. I was out of wrestling between 2014 and 2023. So everything that made the New Day this Hall of Fame trios or tag team was beyond me. So maybe it's easier for me to see them running heel, because I didn't really, grow up with them as a babyface group. So we'll see. I think the way that I think about it is they can come in as heel with Swerve and then, have that run as long as they want to. And whenever they turn babyface, people will just be that much more excited for it.
They were revolutionary as baby faces. They felt so naturally quirky and weird and funny. Frankly, kind of paved the way for wrestlers like Willow that were just almost childlike in the way that they handled their babyfaceness, and silly, and it was fantastic. They were fantastic, and they could also fucking go. And then they built up this thing of being the most dominant, decorated tag champions of all time, which I'll be honest, may or may not be true anymore. I don't know my stats. But anyway, we'll go next into we got a triple threat for the international championship. Kyle Fletcher versus Okada versus Takeshita. Oh my goodness!
Oh man,
I'll give my thoughts on this. This is a pretty easy choice for just a certified banger of the night.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I don't know that there's much else to say from me other than just like, oh hell yeah, this is a match you play on 2K and you get all three of these together and you're like, what happened if this really went down? Thrilled. That's all I got. Thrilled for it. It's a perfect kind of all in triple threat.
Yeah, I think the build to it has been amazing. I think this is one of those examples of AEW doing storytelling just fine. And I think that I'm excited for the match. I think everybody's excited for the match. I think this is another one of those examples of like, hey, Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita have been feuding for a while. I think
Sure.
And Takeshita and Okada have had this dynamic for the longest. And the Don Callis dysfunction has been happening for the longest. And now it all culminates in this match. I'm down for it. I mean, dude, I think I think it has potential to be match of the night, but I don't know. The card is looking insane.
I will tell you what I think is inevitable is that someone gets betrayed and gets kicked out of the Don Callis family, right? I mean, the idea that what's interesting about this is you have three members, of the, because Takeshita is also in the Don Callis family. No,
got kicked out.
So it's already happened.
Yeah.
I stand by what I say. I still think someone else is going.
Yeah, Kyle and Okada haven't been seeing eye to eye, So
yeah, one of them, and it frankly, it should be Okada. I think it's time to.
You think so?
Okada has been a heel the entire AEW run.
Yeah,
I think this is a great opportunity for him to break off of the Don Callis family and show everybody what he's got as a babyface.
Well, you know what they're saying about Okada, huh?
What's that?
They saying he the biggest finesser in wrestling history. They saying AEW paying him like $14 million, north of $10 million for his contract, which I'm gonna say this about. You know what I'm saying? Okada could be getting paid $50 million for his AEW contract. Every time I see a clip from him from New Japan, he is getting the dog shit beat out of him. Yeah, bro, it is. I see these clips from Okada in New Japan, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. So anytime somebody's like, oh, Okada's just an AEW, just sitting on his hands and collecting a check, I'm like, bro, good,
Damn,
awesome.
14 million. God damn. I
Yeah,
know it's like that.
They say it's a lot of money, man.
Good for my boy Okada. I'm not mad at that at all.
Yeah. Bro, I will never hate on somebody getting a check.
Get money,
And I think it's weird when fans do that, man, in any sport. But anytime a fan is like, oh, man, you paid so-and-so this much money, I'm like, dog, you're mad somebody's getting paid?
Dude,
what?
people on Reddit this weekend were like, because it came out that Tom Holland is probably going to make like $100 million for the new Spider-Man movie.
Damn.
And there were some people and they were like, good for him, great for him. And then there was these performative like leftists that were like, it's funny how we can be so critical of millionaires and then like congratulate Tom Holland on making this much. And I'm like, God. Dude, we're not talking about a billionaire Elon Musk like world destroying piece of shit.
You know what I'm like? There is a difference between a Tony Khan and an Elon Musk. You know what I'm saying? And anybody that's not being overly performative in their activism can see that, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, totally, side note, but come on. Let my boy make some money. Darby Allin versus Kevin Knight.
Or is it?
Oh, are you saying that because Darby got exploded tonight on Dynamite?
Yeah. Well, they blew Darby up with spikes.
They fucking blew some sparklers
with
in his face.
Fire stand sparklers.
And he sold it like he had fucking got dropped with a nuke.
But then Kevin Knight put that chair around his head, hung him from the turnbuckle, and then hit him with that missile drop kick from the other turnbuckle.
Oh yeah, no, it was nasty.
Yeah,
it was nasty.
Hey, whew.
They're gonna have a great match. They're gonna. It did feel a little bit like the first. What is it? Barbed wire exploding death match.
Yeah.
Where, I was like,
that's it.
I mean, he's fine. Like,
man, I was like, bro, listen. Darby got blown up, but I think a couple of weeks ago, I just saw Darby take like a powerbomb front flip to where he landed face first in the thumbtacks. I think he's going to be okay.
That's the thing, yeah. We trying to see Darby die every single time? Like, maybe it's okay that they're reining it back a little bit.
I do think it's hilarious, though, that Kevin Knight finally got to blow up Darby, and they did a little switch of roles, But I also wanted to ask you, do you think, they carried Darby off on a stretcher? He had the little neck brace on. They had Sting's son out there, escorting him out the arena. And getting into it with Kevin Knight. Do you think that Tony Khan heard people were feeling some type of way about Speedball not getting a match against Kevin Knight for that TNT Championship? Do you think that this is how they rendezvous Speedball Mike Bailey into this?
I actually didn't consider that. I could absolutely see that as a possibility. It's funny because when you started asking this question, I thought you were going to be like, do you think that they put in Sting's son into the match? And I was going to be like, no. But you were. This is a Speedball thing. Got it.
You're like, who am I running a podcast with?
I don't know. I don't know about that one. Watch that happen. And we're like, oh shit, my bad, Tony.
Darby Allin's literally holding him back. He's like, no, you're not ready. Not yet.
Don't understand.
Not yet.
We're going to paint his face. Yeah, I mean, it could happen. I wouldn't be mad at it. I think it's probably a little too late. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen, that happen last week.
Yeah.
I tend to believe that Darby is one of those guys that even if and when people get a little disillusioned with his style, he always delivers.
Yeah.
And he's one of those guys, I always go back to like booking decisions and booking, the perspective that the booker is taking. And it feels like Darby is, fucking 99.9% of the time a sure thing.
Yeah.
Like from a booking perspective, where you're going to book that guy and he's going to kill it. And I don't see this much build going into that without him wrestling.
Yeah.
But that being said, that might also weirdly be a good reason to let him not wrestle and to let someone else step in, right? Because he is so sure of a thing.
Yeah. Official prediction from my side, right?
Yep, let's do it.
They switch Darby and Speedball. They keep it as one of those, I think it's a falls count anywhere type of, no disqualification type of match. I think Kevin Knight does something ridiculous to Speedball that's just extremely unfair. Darby shows up, saves the day. Speedball Mike Bailey becomes TNT champion.
I think more likely you have it, but the opposite way is that Darby comes in injured. And because it's a falls count anywhere, Speedball shows up, has his big spots, and makes it where Darby can actually. Here's the thing, though: does Darby win it again, the TNT Championship? He's so historically linked to the title.
Yeah,
does he win it again? Is that right? Is that the right choice? Like, it feels like Kevin Knight should keep it.
Yeah,
it really does.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Kevin Knight's already beat Darby Allin once for the TNT Championship, right? So. Why run that match back again at All In just to have him beat him again?
Yeah, I suppose you're right in terms of him, setting him on fire and blowing him into oblivion. It feels like they're setting it up for him to get it back. Look, I think all this discussion, all it does is make it interesting.
Yeah,
right. I am quite unsure. I could see a multiple kind of pathways and how this would go. And I've always said this, I'll maintain this. You'll hear me say this a million times on this podcast. When wrestling is hard to predict and it's interesting and you see multiple possibilities being realistic, that's when they're doing their job. Oh, yeah. That is the best way. And granted, sometimes the best thing is the most obvious. This is not one of those situations.
Oh, dude, really quick. And I think this is a good segue into another potential match that we really haven't had announced for All In yet. What's going to happen with the TBS Championship? Because tonight on Dynamite, Maya World defended and won the TBS Championship again. She retained against Persephone and Chris Statlander and Hikaru Shida. Dude, I had mentally prepared the entire day for Maya World to no longer be the champion whenever I went to sleep tonight. when you talk about wrestling being unpredictable and it being exciting, that match, that was it for me, man. That did. Oh man, I had a great time watching that.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction right now.
Okay.
I think she gets a debut. I think that this is an opportunity to debut someone. I think they're giving her some wins. I think that Maya, although great, I'm happy she won the championship. I could see someone debuting and beating her.
Okay.
Similar to
who's
Tommaso
out there?
Ciampa. Well, that is the part of the question that I don't have the answer to.
Yeah, interesting.
I don't know. I don't know if it's here's what the internet people will tell you.
Yeah,
They'll tell you it's going to be Bailey, and that is wrong.
no,
that makes no sense to me.
No.
But I don't know. My gut tells me that because she has gotten so many W's in, and she's also now effectively, she's kind of defeated the folks that would have been challengers.
Yeah,
it could be there's two options. It's a debut, or the other one is they just hone in on one of the people that she beat tonight.
Yeah,
we get a promo next week. We run it back, which is not the most interesting option to me. It may be the more likely to happen.
Bro, it
could be a Sheeta again.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah, whatever is going to happen, it has to happen on Dynamite, because on Saturday she's running a match against Willow for the AEW Women's Championship. So what I'm assuming is going to happen is they're going to have their match. Whoever she's going to be facing at All In for the TBS Championship is probably going to interfere in that match. So maybe it'll be Persephone again.
It could be fun to watch her get thrown in to the World Championship and All In. If we do a triple and we get winner takes all, we get Willow versus Mercedes, versus Maya, because she has beef with both of them, right? I mean,
man,
now
that's a thought. Now, man, going into this, I really thought it was going to be Maya World versus Athena. If not for the TBS Championship, then for the Ring of Honor World Championship, or maybe like a both type of thing. But I don't know. I guess it's one of those we gotta have to wait and see type things.
We're gonna have some smarks popping up, be like, it's obvious what's gonna happen, and they're probably gonna be right. But
if Bailey's gonna be showing up,
I think what's hard is that, again, this is another situation of I could see multiple things happening and being fun and being true. I think it's a testament to how strong and fun this card is.
Truly. Yeah, 100%.
All right, we got a couple to run through here. Real quick, Casino Gauntlet to determine the number one contender for the Men's World Championship. Andrade is the first entrant. To me, that feels like he will win. I really do.
Number 2 is MJF.
Yeah, I'm not convinced. I love me some MJF. I think his it feels like the time right now is. It feels like it is a perfect time for him to put people over, which is what he's been doing.
I gotta ask you this, man.
Yeah,
because since we're talking about MJF, how do you feel about this one true champ thing that he's doing, walking around with the Triple B belt?
Yeah, listen, I'm not even going to disagree with the folks that think it is derivative of the CM Punk thing. CM Punk walked around with the belt that was called, what was he called, the real champion, or what was it? He put an X over the AEW belt, and this is really just because he didn't want to be on Dynamite anymore, or Collision anymore. I can't remember the exact circumstances, but to me, I think my thoughts are that left a bad taste in people's mouths, where now we're seeing a similar story. And to be clear, we see similar stories in wrestling all the fucking time. That one is so linked to him because it was so, we hadn't really seen anything like that in a while. I think now we're seeing it again with MJF, which is arguably CM Punk's strongest rivalry in AEW. And it does feel derivative, but in a way that is it just kind of reminds us of a to be quite frank, the worst time in AEW's lore was when the CM Punk downfall was happening, and it was the backstage stuff was happening. In other words, I think I would like it a lot more if that hadn't happened, If this is the first time I see a champion like or a gimmick like this, I would think it was like so creative and so fun.
Yeah.
But it just is intrinsically linked to a time in the company's history that is a little ugly. And perhaps that's why they're doing it, right? Is to break it away from that and to give it some new history. Let's move on. Let's get to we're running a little over here, so let's go ahead and try to let's do a speed run to get through this.
Okay.
We've got
locked in.
The Continental Cup final, which at this point we do not know what the final will be.
Not yet.
I do know that Nigel,
even though we know.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, you never know. Nigel could be not. Listen, Nigel's my boy, dude. That's my guy. I love Nigel. I'll always be rooting for him. So I'm not going to sit here and write him off just yet.
Okay.
Divine Dominion versus the Brawling Birds. Yeah. Fun. Yeah.
This is actually the only match on this card that I'm kind of like about. And love the Divine Dominion. I want to really like the Brawling Birds, but I feel like in this build up to their match with one another, I feel like all they've really done is like squash local talent tag teams. So it's like, I don't know.
To me, it's just the battle of the teams with the most obvious forced alliteration. Where they're like, what should we call them? They're brawling the divine. Where we just need my biggest criticism of AEW tag teams is they need better names. Like straight up. It is like my biggest critic. They all their names are come on. Can we be just workshop them a little bit more?
Yeah.
Like Brawling Birds, come on, like what are we doing? Divine Dominion. Dude, even onto the net. Cage and Cope.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Versus the Young Bucks. Tag team. We talked about this in length before. I don't know if there's much to be said other than this feels like a very much like a bucket list match for the Young Bucks. Who do you think is winning this one?
I think the Young Bucks are winning, man. I think the
Young Bucks beating them.
Yeah, I think the Young Bucks are beating Cage and Cope, man. I think that they actually, man, I think they're beating them. I just don't know what happens after that because in my mind, this is probably Cage and Cope's last time holding the tag team belts. But but that would mean that this is probably their last year wrestling.
I think I tend to agree. I feel like there is there could be a little bit of a torch passing here.
Yeah.
That being said, it does feel a tad premature for me in terms of Adam Copeland and Christian Cage losing. It's just because it's at All In that I go, well, I guess we might be doing it here. But if it were up to me, they would have it for a few more months. I'd like to get used to them as the champions a little bit more.
I'll tell you what I wouldn't mind, man. I wouldn't mind them beating the Young Bucks at All In, holding the belts all the way to All Out, and then losing the belts to like the New Day, or whoever the fuck,
I actually think that's great. I think that's great. I don't think the Young Bucks need the championships
at all.
But it is hard to kind of see them. Here's what I'll say. I'm predicting the Young Bucks, but I'm rooting for Cope and Cage.
Okay. Yeah. I think I land on the exact same place with there. I will say kind of feeling some type of way about FTR not being on this card. I feel like they carried the tag division for a long time. Yeah, a couple of months. I thought it would have been cool to see them in this match, but we can get it another time. You know what I'm saying? So whatever.
That is a good point. Yeah, it feels like they've earned that right. All right, last two matches, Mercedes versus Willow. You and I have pretty much predicted this entire story, dating 4 to 5 weeks ago. We pretty much knew this was going to be on here.
Yeah.
We called it. We called this shit. I maintain my opinion on this, and that
you saw people weren't agreeing with you online, huh?
Not agreeing with me online. Yeah. They're like, oh, is Mercedes gonna be All In, 2-time loser? My response to those people is, are you fucking kidding me? Yes, she is. Like, think about how often people lose at WrestleMania. Like it's not about your record. It's not about, oh, she won last time a year ago, or lost last time a year ago. She has to win this time. No. A lot has happened. and I will reiterate that Mercedes is a brilliant wrestler because she knows where to be, what to do in that particular place and time in the story. The best place for her to lose against the brand new babyface champion is in front of as many people as possible. She has been there. She has done that. She is a fucking veteran. She knows that the best result is to lose to Willow. We are putting over people here. Ladies and gentlemen, she's not fucking Willow is not losing. It would be a terrible decision for her to lose. Now, obviously, could it happen? I'm not booking the goddamn card. Of course. Is it more likely that she wins? Is it the best choice that she wins? Does it make sense that Willow wins 1,000% across the board?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I think I was sitting on the other side of the fence than you going into this match. I was like, man, there's no way that Mercedes returns and then wins the Owen just to lose to Willow at All In. I feel like this is Mercedes' big moment. But the more I listen to you, the more I realize, honestly, Mercedes doesn't need this win at All In. She doesn't. You know, Mercedes could lose this match to Willow at All In. The only thing that changes is that Willow's stock goes even higher.
Exactly.
Mercedes is a fucking star, bro. Let's just say what it is, okay? She is one of the biggest stars in wrestling, not just AEW. She was in the fucking Mandalorian.
Dude, she's a Mandalorian.
You know, straight up. She's in Star Wars projects. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Mercedes Moné, and it's so funny because Willow kind of touched on it in her promo on Dynamite today. She said, hey, Mercedes, you're a star. You are one of the, everybody looks up to you. You're a lot of people's role model in wrestling. You've been a star longer than a lot of us have been wrestling in our entirety. But the people don't love you the way that they love me. And they love me because I'm me. They love you because of, all the championships that you've won. But guess where that's gotten you? Not to this AEW Women's Championship. And guess where it's gotten me? Holding this belt. And the people cheering my name over you. Over yours, so it's just like, I think, man, there's so much authenticity in this feud, man. I really like it. I love it. I've been enjoying it, man. I can't wait for this match. I'm saying all that to say, I really hope Willow wins this match, man. I really hope she does.
She will. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Okay. I'm going to go on Kalshi right now and put fucking $2,000 down on it. All right. Last match, we've got Omega versus Ospreay. Obviously, the big thing that happened on Dynamite tonight was they had this 10-minute interview that swelled and was very intense and cinematic.
You're a story guy. How'd you like that?
I mean, I thought it was great. Okay. I think that this is exactly the kind of shit that I eat up in a wrestling show. Is taking a step back, slowing shit down, give me some pacing. I think that they've also had a very physical build, and it was a really smart move to give us some talking. I will say, there is a lot of sexual tension between these two.
Man, I told you, they're not the real life Goku and Vegeta. They're the real life Naruto and Sasuke.
Yeah,
they like each other.
They love each other.
Yeah.
I want to see both these men just end up happy. That's all I want. I just want them both to be happy together. Like, before Omega walked out tonight, Ospreay walked up to him. I could have swear, dude. I was like, dude, they're gonna kiss. Like, this is incredible. The tension between these two is palpable, and honestly, people are like, oh, he's bullshitting. I'm not even fucking kidding you. They're like, there's so much like chemistry and just tension. Like, you could cut that shit, dude, with a knife. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
The storyline goes back years for this.
Yeah, I was about to say, man, there's something very real in what you're saying, right? Because like there is a sense of love there. And you can only have that type of connection and that type of emotion for somebody that you love. Will Ospreay can't sit here and go back and forth and be that passionate with anybody else because they don't have the history that him and Kenny Omega have. Dude, This is from somebody that wasn't a fan of New Japan, that wasn't aware of anything going on outside of the WWE before a couple of years ago, right? Listening to this backstory of Will Ospreay saying, hey, man, this is what I had to go through during COVID. When the world shut down and everybody was on my ass about not being able to put butts in seats, this is what it was like. We were starving. We were hungry. We were grinding here in Japan. And you were over here eating good in AEW. Tony Khan took care of y'all. You didn't have to do, and yeah, you had your run in New Japan. But look at the people you had around you. You had Tanahashi. You had Okada. You had all these huge names out there to help you build, to also fill these seats. And I was the guy, so like hearing Will Ospreay get that real and that gritty and that emotional about what he's had to do to build his name up and then end all of that with, and I'm still not there yet because I have to beat you. And I won't achieve what I've set out to achieve. And I won't be the man that I want to be in my own mind until I accomplish this feat of defeating you. Dude, that's powerful. That is really powerful. Now we're talking about things that are transcending wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, I will circle back. If anybody thinks I'm just, taking the piss, Omega is involved to this day in one of the most like powerful queer wrestling storylines of all time. Omega and Kota Ibushi was truly a revolutionary way of telling a storyline in wrestling that was inherently queer, but also very, very, very deep and well written, but also it was subtle enough to not necessarily be interpreted as overtly, which it could have been, and I would have been fine with it. But that's how brilliant and layered the story was, and the my head canon, right now is really feeling like I'm seeing shades of this again, of seeing very intimately involved, men with a tremendous amount of history that have gone through a shitload and that are finding themselves close together and have all the reasons right now to hate each other, by the way, but like can't really seem to do it, but know that they're going to fight and battle, but there is so much love between them. And I know there's some people listening to this and rolling their eyes, but that is storytelling, right? Is how you choose to interpret it, how you choose to break these things apart. And to me, this is a very layered, multifaceted story, and I'm thrilled. I think it's brilliant. I do. Yeah. It feels very New Japan. It feels it feels like there is a lot of different interpretations that can be taken, and I mean that's really all I have to say. I'm thrilled. I think All In's going to be great. I think we should absolutely watch it together. We should take some notes together.
Yeah.
We should really dive into this card, because here's the thing: we watch these shows separately, and then this is when you and I talk about them. We don't talk about them on the phone. Like we might text you. I mean, sometimes I text you. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is going on? Or I'm lost.
Or sometimes I'll text you and I'll be like, bro, did you just see this shit?
Yeah.
And
dude, you remember when Mick Foley was like fucking barking or whatever the hell? I texted you. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
And I knew exactly what you were talking about. As you, no context needed, bro. Oh man, yeah. Oh man, yeah, hilarious, bro. Can't wait. I think All In's gonna be a blast, man.
Dude, last thing, did you see Zilla Fatu call himself a nympho baby?
I did. Oh, bro. As a Houstonian, bro, that hurt. Because you want to see him do well.
Awesome.
But it's also like Zilla. Now here's the thing. This wouldn't have been that bad to me if a week before I hadn't just watched Zilla Fatu on Chris Van Vliet trying to break down his family tree. And Chris Van Vliet asked him, he's like, Zilla, so how is this person related to you? And Zilla's like, so that is my cousin's dad's brother. And so Chris Van Vliet was like, so what does that make him to you? And Zilla was like, my grandpa? And I was like,
sure doesn't.
And Chris was like, you sure about that? Maybe your uncle? And he was like, yeah, my uncle maybe. And that's when I remembered. I was like, oh yeah, this dude went to prison at 15 years old. He was institutionalized for 6 years.
My favorite part of that shit is he said it, and then Robert Stone's in the background, and he's like, he's playing his like mouthpiece or whatever, and he's just kind of like, that's right. And it's like, in his head, he was like, shit, he just said nympho, didn't he?
Bro, how does that come out of your mouth, bro? I'm sorry, but you see, the thing is though, is that as a wrestling fan, things like that don't even bother me because that felt so real. Because I mean, and maybe this is me being biased because I feel like I kind of like know Zilla Fatu. I know people that know him. I know like the circles he run in. I also know like I know how he grew up here in Houston. So a big part of me is like, no, that's who he is. Yeah. If I was having a conversation with him outside, he would tell me, yeah, I don't want to be no nympho baby. And I would be like, yeah, you sure don't, Zilla.
The term is actually nepo baby. Yeah, in all seriousness, like I wish him all the success. I know he has busted his ass to get to this to this point.
And people won't give him the credit for it is the thing that gets me, man. Is like, and I think now, and this is just having a transparent conversation, right? I think that I've seen things floating around about him online where people have been like, hey man, that dude was at a party and he was like, trying to pass people around like too much alcohol. He was just doing too much.
Oh, see, I don't know about all that.
See, that's one thing. And I can go one of two ways with that, right? Just being a very real person who's been to college and stuff like that. There's one guy that does that. And it's because he is a fucking predator and he's trying to prey on women. And there's another guy that does that because he's brand new to college and he thinks that that's just how you turn up in college. And he's trying to make sure everybody has a good time because he's trying to like fill that college stereotype. And I think about Zilla and I'm like, okay, well, this is a dude that again was institutionalized from 15 to 21. And he's at a party, which is probably like some after party for a wrestler thing. He's trying to do what he thinks people in parties do, which is probably like, but again, not a situation for me to speak on because I don't know, I don't know about all that.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt and going by what I know personally.
Yeah. So
I'll just say I wish him the best.
Yeah. I'll say I wish him the best. I want to see him do well. If people don't want to see him do well because they don't like him personally, cool. If you don't want to see him do well because he's a part of the Samoan dynasty and you think that this is like this nepotism thing,
you're a weirdo.
Or if you think that if you don't want to see him do well because you think that he can't wrestle, I also think that's silly. Like he's in NXT. Yeah. That's where they go to develop. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He's going to get better. And I think he fits within the WWE system really well.
Just watch more Game of Thrones. That's really it. Where everyone's related and you root for them because of that fact. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get out of here. It's been a long episode and we love you all. Thanks for the support. As always, engage, like, comment, and join us on our channel. Ted's got a channel on his personal Instagram that's really doing the bulk of the promoting here, and we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to get the dialogue going. We've probably lost a lot. I think every episode I'm just like, oh, we probably lost people, but I'd love to think that we're gaining people because wrestling is an inclusive space, and it is a space where a lot of different personalities exist, that queer people exist, that freaks exist, that weirdos exist, and I think frankly those are the folks that I would like to most speak to and represent. There are plenty of podcasts that will glaze Roman Reigns and glaze, as much as I love John Moxley. Well, I think that there is a place for shows like this to exist where we might dive into the places of wrestling or the parts and shades of it that aren't as represented and talked about. And not that is necessarily our goal, but it just happens to be the opinions of us a lot of times. So,
it's what we think is interesting.
It's what we think is interesting. Engage, do the stuff. We love you, and we will see you. It feels like the natural place is either right before All In or right after All In. Hard to say. We're gonna feel it out. But everyone have a great week. Enjoy the shows. Drink some water. Drink some water. You're never drinking enough water.
That's a good one. That's a good one to end it on.
Okay. All right. See you later, everybody.